when he first got the first year that he was at Discovery Channel. I think he was promoted very quickly, very frequently, and more than other people because he worked so hard and he was so dedicated and so good at what he did. I was very proud of him.
How long were you there?
I was there for 30 years. My first day at Discovery was actually not in the office. I was in research. They wanted to have an off-site meeting. And so it was at a nearby hotel, and we were all sort of getting to know each other anyway, so it was actually perfect timing. And I think one of the things I liked best about it was actually the people I was working with. It's kind of what I tell people who I've worked with, or who have worked with me over the years. If you're going to think about leaving, taking a better job, I'm there to support you. But I also want you to try to evaluate the people you're working with just as much as the position. Because you can take a job where it looks like it's the greatest job on paper and have some people in it that you don't get along with, and it becomes the worst job you've ever had. I was in the office probably 2 days before my last day. And oddly enough, it wasn't weird and uncomfortable. It was just sort of like, all right, guess that's it. Drove out of the garage, kept my computer, kept my cell phone. Figured I'd turn it in eventually, but I still have them. That was it. So there was a series that I spent a lot of time trying to develop and trying to get it on air. Probably took about 2 years, year and a half at least. And finally, there came a point in time where we were focusing more on linear instead of the digital part of our business. And so I brought it back up again and said, there's this show that I really think we should do. I think our audience would love it for a myriad of reasons. And we decided to move forward with it. And so we were down at that shop, making a trip through Texas, visiting some of the other car-related businesses that were there. And while we were there, the guy's name was Shorty. He really, really wanted me to be in one of the episodes. And the guy Josh Berkey, one of my coworkers, was there with me. And so they insisted that we put on T-shirts that looked like we were in the shop. And in the end credits, we were going to look as if we were coming for a visit. And knocking on his door. He's got a full pager. And coming in and saying a few things. I don't remember what I said. It was several things, and they just used whatever they thought was best. So I'm in the end credits of the very last episode of Shorty's Dream Shop. So Hours Made was actually a series that was created in Canada. It was working well in Europe, but the folks in the US didn't seem to like it. They thought it was too low budget, just low production values. And I took one look at it and I thought, this is great. I went to talk to our head of our network and said, I think we should do this. And he said, well, maybe we should put it on daytime. Maybe people will find it. And I ignored him. We bought it. I put it in prime time, and it worked from day one.
You're famous. I tell people you pitched it, so I'm gonna fix that.
In a way, I did pitch it. I pitched that we should go ahead and acquire it, and acquire more of it, and do it in the U.S. for Science Channel. I want to do something that sort of gives back in a certain way. Something that helps. Something that I feel it helps. Not that the Motor Trend job wasn't a great job, but did it really help anyone materially? Probably not.
Why is the vibe? The vibe's different.
The vibe is
in
different.
Your life. Your life vibe. Go.
The vibe is different because, one, I'm older. When you get older, hopefully you chill a little bit more. I have a good friend of mine who said that once your kids get to a certain age and you feel that they can be relatively self-sufficient and they're getting out of college, that you shouldn't have too many more worries as long as you planned accordingly and you've prepared them as best you can. And so that happening at the same time as a job I worked for 30 years and trying to figure out, one, my next step, without the pressure even of having to pay college tuition, is kind of nice because I can figure out what I want to do rather than what I have to do. And I think that's probably the vibe that you're recognizing. It's a little bit different.